The Thrive administration menu is accessed via the settings menu in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. From here, you click on Admin Settings to open the admin menu view. There's a lot you can do in this view, so let's take a minute to talk about everything. Under Advanced Filters, you'll see the ability to set hidden Cognos users. What this means is that if you have a service level account or developer accounts or something like that you don't want to be visible in Thrive, you want to hide that account and its interactions from the Thrive software, you simply add them to the hidden menus list. For example, in this case, we can take Rufus Shinra. When we add Rufus Shinra to the hidden users list, Rufus will no longer appear in Thrive. If we were to hit the X button to remove him from the list, after a brief processing period, he would show up again in Thrive statistics. Below that, we have user management, where you can go to add users or remove users from the Thrive software. It's as simple as putting in the email address of the user you want to invite and a custom invitation message if you wish, and then hitting the Invite Users button. Below that, we have ThriveSync settings. Really, the thing to know here is that when a new version of Thrive comes out, this is the place that you're going to go to pull the ThriveSync software, which is the local component necessary to push data into the Thrive cloud for the application. You can also reset your Thrive API key here. Below that, we have account-wide settings. Two things to know here. The first is this is where you would set your time zone. This will affect all of the time displayed in Thrive. And secondly, this is where you can provide names for your application servers. So in this case, I'm going to rename this IP address to server 13. Once I click Save, any reference to this IP address in the Thrive system is going to say server 13 instead. Next, we have the Configure Unique Identifiers section. This is where you would go if you are in a situation where you don't have users' actual names in Cognos, you only have some form of identifier that comes out of directory. For example, if you had an individual in Cognos whose name was Ryan Dolly, but in Cognos they only showed up as A0E02D, it makes determining who's doing what within Thrive much more difficult. Here you can upload a CSV that will map those codes to the names and also provide individual email addresses so that you can email users directly from within the Thrive user interface. If you're an on-premise customer, you also have the ability to write an ETL script that will do this automatically. For cloud customers, the CSV is the way to go. Finally, we have the issue generator thresholds. If you're curious about the issue generator, we have a whole video about that. Suffice it to say, what you need to know right here is that this is where you go to set issue generation parameters and determine recipients for issue cards that are generated by Thrive. For example, under poorly performing reports, I can affect the formula that's used to determine what counts as a poorly performing report. In this case, I could say the number of executions I want it to take into account. So it will average the performance of reports over this number of executions. 10 is maybe low. Let's say we set it to 100. And the max and the average runtime that will count as a poorly performing report. In this environment, it's currently set to 1 second. Again, pretty low. So I could up that to 120 seconds or 2 minutes. Finally, I can set an alert recipient for this specific issue type. So in this case, Eric and myself are set as the alert recipients. That means every time Thrive detects a poorly performing report, as determined by a report that over the last 100 executions has an average execution time of over 120 seconds, Thrive will send an email to Eric and I letting us know that a report is in that status. Once you've made your appropriate changes in here, you simply click Save, and your issue generator thresholds have been updated. And that covers what you can do in the Thrive Administrator menu.